Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be editing a couple photos from a couple's boudoir that I did. I put out a model call for this and this lovely lady answered. I am so happy that she did. Their chemistry was just so amazing the entire session. Like, I really didn't even have to give them a whole lot of guidance. I just kind of told them, just be in the moment, cuddle, love on each other, look at each other. And I mean, it really took off. I love how these came out. So I'm going to show you guys real quick what I did. I'm going to go put on one of my new presets I'm working on. And these are kind of going for more of that like filmy kind of vibe. So Wild and Free is the one that I used. Now I know. From first look, it's a little crazy looking, but just bear with me, okay? I absolutely love this preset. It gives me like those warm brown tones, but not completely brown tones. You know what I mean? So we're going to go in here and brighten that up. I'm going to bump the contrast just down a little bit, just because of how dark this image was. When I bump this contrast down, what it does for me, what I make it do for me, I should say, by bumping this contrast down, it is making my image look more overall even, if that makes sense, because I'm messing with all these little sliders, and if I have my contrast up, my shadows are going to be super dark, my highlights are going to be popping. I might lose certain details because other details are overpowering it. Now I do take this into Photoshop and I do put some magic touches on there so I can get that oomph back to my images, but I just go in here and mess with my contrast to make it more even before I even mess with that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave the rest of these. I think I like where all of this is. So I did recently do, sorry, I did not mean to hover over that. I did some white balance presets for myself because I'm tired of having to use this white balance and click C. So I just created my own little preset so I can hover over it and see, do I even want to mess with those? So right away I know that because my preset is a little on the filmy side, it's going to have more of those green tones to it. So I don't want the green tones for this particular session, and I've already looked at the whole gallery and I just didn't like how that looked. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bump this up to a pretty warm tone. That looks really good. I love that. And then I'm going to add some more magenta to it. All right, and then actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add some of this dehaze. So dehaze is kind of going to do the same thing as your contrast, bumping that down. You see how like lighter it got? It makes it look a little bit more even and just, I don't know, like it just does something for me and I don't know how to quite explain it. Almost like ethereal, because you can literally take this and you can bump this down and you can see what I'm talking about, that ethereal like fogginess, you know what I mean? So we're just going to go back to that -15, and I'm not going to mess with the tone curve because the tone curve is perfect. I like it where it is. I am going to go ahead into my color panel here, and I'm only going to mess with our orange. I'm going to kind of bring some of that saturation back. So let's try a -30. All right. Okay. We're getting some color back. I am going to take the luminance and reset it to 0 so it's not so dark and overbearing. Okay, I think I'm going to add my masking now. I have 0 masks right now on it. So we're going to go into my adjustments right here. And we're going to say, hey, let's add the mask. And this is my go-to masking. I use pretty much the same masking all the time. My masking is on. You guys cannot see this little pop-up box that pops right here that tells me all of my masks. So I'm going to read it out to you. I don't know why it doesn't do that. I literally have it selected so it shows me my boxes in here. But it still doesn't do that for whatever reason. So the first one we have is our lips. Oh, here, let me put the overlay on for you. Perfect. Okay. So the first mask we have is our lips. This is just to saturate because obviously if I am putting masks on face, and I'm doing like AI masking and stuff like that, it may not grab my lips and it may only just grab my skin. So I always grab a lip mask so I can make them even so they're not looking like purple compared to the rest of their face. I have an eyes brighten mask on as well, but their eyes are closed, so it doesn't matter. I have my skin glow. As you can see, it is all over their skin. We are getting everywhere. The skin glow is going to do exactly what it says it's going to do. It's just going to go in there and add some of that oomph. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys really quick what that does. So this is without the skin glow, and then this is with the skin glow. It's very subtle, but when you add it together with all the other masks, it looks amazing. Then I have my hair. So for the hair, obviously it's getting their hair. I like to go in there and define the hair, so I add that texture, that clarity. Sometimes, depending on how I shot, I will darken their hair, because if I'm bumping up my shadows and my blacks, they're going to lose some of that darkness in their hair, especially if they are darker haired. That was pretty rude. My headset cut off in the middle of me talking. Then we have our pretty highlights. And this is going to take any kind of highlight on the face and it's going to kind of bring it back so you have some of that depth in there. And I'm going to show you guys just really quick. Bam, right there. And then we've got our subject and our background. I love these. I always use a subject and a background mask at the very least. Okay, so I've got my people pop, so it's really just going to help make them stand out. Again, this is without it, and you can really see the difference that it makes. And then I've got the background. Sometimes I don't have the background set to what it is right now. I have the exposure down by -0.2. Sometimes I don't do that at all. Sometimes I will just leave that 0. And then once this gets pulled into Photoshop, it is going to look like this. All right, and let's move on to the next image. And we're gonna go in, I'm gonna go ahead and just put the masking on. I'm gonna go ahead and put a 1 on this just to see what that looks like. We're gonna go ahead, maybe take these highlights down just a little bit. Maybe not quite that much, but we'll do that. I'm gonna take this down and I'm gonna do this. And make sure that that is all going to work together, and then maybe pull this back down to the 75. Let's do 25 and oops, try like a 65. Now the 25 just might be a little too much magenta. What does this look like? That looks nice. So I'm going to put this down, and then I'm going to put that down, I think. I'm going to go into the color mixer. We're going to go to orange, and I'm going to bring this down to that 35, and we're going to bump that back up just like we did in the last one. I think what needs to happen up in the warmth and the magenta, this is how I edited it. It is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I absolutely adore this image. It's like one of those like anonymous type posts, so nobody's face is seen in it. Very cool. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go put masking on, and now we're going to apply our preset. Ooh, that was weird. I thought my Lightroom was going to crash there for a minute. My Lightroom window completely disappeared, and all I saw was my computer screen background, and I was like, no, please don't. Okay, everything's great. I think I need to update my computer or something. So let's go ahead and adjust some of these things. Warm this up. We're going to just jump to 7,000 and see how that works for us. Bump this up to 20. And the reason why I'm doing that is, so I want to show you guys. So when you're looking at this, like, I don't know, maybe it's just my eyes, but when I'm looking at this, I know for a fact that there's a little too much of a tint of green in here, and I don't want that. So I'm just bumping it up just a bit just to get that back. we're going to do our -20 for the contrast because that seemed to work for a lot of the images that I had in basically getting that the evenness, you know. I'm going to put this down to 20, and I think I'm gonna lower this. Let's do the other ones are 45, so let's just keep that where that is for now. And then I know I'm gonna probably add some dehaze, and I think I did a -15 for most of the images that I have. Boom. Okay, and we're not done. We're not done. Now we get to add some exposure. So let's see what 1 is. That's a little too bright. So we know we need to do point something. So let's try 0.5. Still a little too dark. It's not as bright as I want it. Let me try, what's 0.7 look like? It's a little better. Yeah, I think I like the 7. 7 is where we're gonna go. So 0.7 exposure. And a lot of this is once you familiarize yourself with how your photos are going to look coming out of Lightroom and how they will look once you've put all your Photoshop stuff on it, if you are doing Photoshop, this will make a lot more sense to you. I know I'm kind of just jumping around and I seem to be putting numbers in here that just don't quite make sense, because when I use the slider, sometimes for my eyes, I can't actually tell if there's anything changing. So I need it to be a drastic change. That's why I put the numbers in there, so I can instantly see, oh, okay, there is a huge difference there. So that's all that is. So we're going to go into our color. We're going to pull this to, what did I say, -35 was pretty nice. Yeah, that looks great. And then we're going to zero out the luminance because we don't want it to be too dark. Now, I will let you know a little secret. If you are dealing with skin tones and you want them to not be like bright and washed out, so like if I'm going to pull this all the way up, like see how their skin tones are like almost pasty, and see how now they look really dark. Luminance can help you keep your skin tones dark. So if you are working with people of color and you're noticing you're losing their skin tones, try the orange luminance slider. Even if you add a mask on their skin tones to keep their skin tones dark, but you're losing like that depth, go in here and bump up the luminance and you will start to get some of that depth back. Just play around with some of the sliders. A lot of them go hand in hand with each other. The only masks that are sticking right now is my subject and my background. Those are the only masks that are actually doing anything. What I ended up doing on this one, I just took the vibrance from -6 and I just zeroed it out. That's all that I did. All right, let's go to the last one and let's go ahead. We'll put our wild and free preset on there. And then we will apply our masking. So for this one, I'm going to take this in Photoshop and I'm going to take from this line right here on the bed and I'm going to bring it all the way up here. I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to content aware fill this, and it will probably fill it with something that looks like this bed sheet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's warm this up. Let's see. I mean, it's pretty warm already. Let's try this. Maybe not that. Let's do something like that. I think it has a lot of green in it, so the magenta that we need to add is very little. Go ahead and even that out with the contrast. I'm going to go down here to the dehaze and take that 15 as well. Let's put this at 45, I think is what I'm keeping that at. And then I think I'm bumping this down to 20. Yes, for sure. Alrighty, so this is what we've got so far. It's looking pretty nice. Alright, now the only thing we have to do is go into our color mixer and we're gonna put that down and put that one. And that one looks pretty dang good. I think this is gonna look really good. So originally I was gonna go for like a darker kind of, you know, moodier one, but I think this one is going to be a little bit better. I think this is going to match it a little better too. So that is editing in Lightroom for those, and because these are once again hands, again the only The only masking that's going to work on there is the subject and the background, and those are going to stay the same. So I didn't change any settings with the subject or the background masking. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate any support that you give to my channel. I love getting on here and recording these awesome videos for you guys. I have a lot of fun doing this. YouTube is my happy place. I am a YouTuber, like hardcore. I get on YouTube over anything else, just to watch videos. So I'm here all the time, and then I get to also upload my own creations onto YouTube. So I just think that I think this is so amazing that you can have such a community on YouTube like this. But I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.